everybody! It's the last day of Vacation Bible School. It's day 5. I'm excited, but I'm a little bit sad. I'm a little bit sad for this to end, for our time on the farm to end together. You've all done such a good job helping me gather up the fruits of the Spirit. Just to review, day 1, we gathered up the fruit of love. Day 2, we went and got some joy. Day 3 was gathering up peace. And day 4, we learned about patience. Now today is day 5. And on day 5, we are gathering the fruit of kindness. Kindness. Boy, it's something we hear about all the time, isn't it? But we really need to explore it and really let it into our lives, don't we? We really need to be kind to one another. We'll talk about that more, but let's go into our memory verse. Today's memory verse goes like this. Always try to be kind to each other and to everyone else. One more time, are you ready? Always try to be kind to each other and to everyone else. That's right, that's what we have to do. We have to be kind to each other and to everyone else, no matter what's happening. Kindness is the way. All right, so let's head over to see what's in our bags for today, and it should be great. Let's go.
Hello kids, welcome to the last day of VBS. Today we will be looking at day 5. Okay, so inside here you have some pipe cleaners, pom-pom on a stick, this thing, I don't know what it is, but it's fun. A pipe cleaner on a stick. And make sure not to poke yourself with the sticks. And googly on a stick. And another googly on a stick. And then you get 2 hearts on a stick. And a bowl. And that's all for VBS Online.
All right, everybody, it's that time again where we're telling stories. You ready for stories? But you know what comes first, don't you? We got to do that memory verse together. How did it go again? Oh yeah, it was something like, always try to be kind to each other and to everyone else. Did you get it? I hope so. That's one we really need to get, isn't it? Well, what is this kindness? Well, you know, there's this story in the Bible where Jesus is, as we know, been traveling around, healing people, teaching people. And there were some religious leaders who weren't so sure about this Jesus guy, so they'd ask him lots of questions. And they were really curious about what he thought about God, about humanity, how we were supposed to interact with each other. And this one guy came up to Jesus and said, Jesus, you talk about all this stuff and you say how we can inherit eternal life. We can live forever. But how? How do we do that? How do we live forever? And Jesus looks back at him and turns the question back around and says, well, what have the scriptures told you? And the man was a religious leader, so he kind of knew his scriptures okay. And he said, well, the scripture tells us to love our God and to love our neighbors as ourselves. That's a pretty good answer. You've maybe heard those lines before. Jesus was like, yeah, man, you got it. Love God and love your neighbor. That's what you do. And he said, okay, sure. But Jesus, who is my neighbor? Like, who counts under that particular line? Like, love God, yes. Love neighbor. Tell me more. Who is my neighbor? And Jesus goes, oh, well, you have asked the right question because I have a story for you. And so Jesus tells this man this story. Once upon a time, there was a man who was walking along the road when he got attacked by robbers on the side of the road. They beat him up and they took all of his stuff and they left him on the side of the road, bleeding and beaten, unable to get up and move or take care of himself, hoping somebody would come by to help him out. And so who comes by? But one of the religious leaders comes walking by. He's on his way to the temple and he sees the bleeding man on the side of the road. And does he stop to help? He does not. He keeps walking on his way as if he never even saw the man. And he continues to lay there bleeding and in pain. Then comes along another leader in the community, comes walking by. Surely this man, this great good man, will stop and help this bleeding, suffering man on the side of the road. But no, he also walks on by without ever even stopping to ask if the man is okay. And then third comes this other man. He's a Samaritan. Now, in Jesus' community, a Samaritan is from a group of people that had a lot of conflict with Jesus's people, who we call the Jewish people, right? And the Jewish people and the Samaritans, they didn't get along very well. They were kind of very harsh rivals with one another. And so when you have a Jewish man bleeding on the side of the road, you don't expect the Samaritan to be the one to stop and help him. And yet that is exactly what happens. It is this man, not the leaders of the community, not the religious leaders or anybody who's supposed to be great in their community, but it is this enemy of the people who stops, sees if he's okay, realizes he is not okay, gathers him up. He tries to treat his wounds as best he can. He puts him on his own donkey, takes him to the closest inn, and says, take care of this man. He uses his own money to pay for his ability to stay at that inn and for them to take care of him. And even says he's going to come back and check on him soon. And so what's the lesson? The lesson is, everybody is your neighbor. Even the people who seem the most like your enemy, that's your neighbor. And that's who we are called to love. Love our neighbor as ourselves. And the Samaritan, the enemy of the people, demonstrated the love of neighbor that Jesus is talking about, that the scriptures are talking about. Jesus just told a Jewish religious leader that he needs to be more like a Samaritan, their enemy. This is crazy for him to say. It is crazy for him to use these examples, and it makes this dramatic point that when we are told to love God and then love our neighbor as ourselves, to show kindness to others, that it means everybody, no matter who they are. So who is it in your life who maybe you haven't always been kind to? How can you go make up for it? Can you start being kind to them? Or who is it that hasn't always been kind to you? You can show kindness back even though they were not kind to you. This is how kindness, when we are alive with God, works. This is the fruit of the Spirit of God at work, that we can be kind even if others are not kind to us. And we should be kind to everybody. I hope you enjoyed this story. I hope you've learned about kindness. I hope you've taken all these fruits of the Spirit into your life and you notice that you're becoming a better person, that you're becoming stronger with these fruits alive in you, stronger in your faith, stronger in your life. Let's go and take a break from all this and see what we have over at our craft table. Let's do something fun. Let's do a craft. Come on.
everybody, welcome back to day 5 and sadly our last day. So today we're going to talk about eggs. So what do you think the difference is between a white egg and a brown egg? God made over 150 different kinds of chickens that can be raised on a farm. These chickens can lay all kinds of eggs. They can lay white or brown or blue or green or even pink. But all kinds of eggs are the same once you crack them. God also made people who can look different from each other. People sometimes think it's okay to treat others different because of what they look like. But the Bible tells us to be kind to all of our neighbors. And who do you think Jesus said our neighbors are? Everyone. So today's craft, we are going to make our own little friend. And everybody's friend might look just a little bit different, but they're all the same inside. So what we have today is we have this funny little ball. So what this actually is it's a stocking, but inside we have dirt and we have grass seeds. And that sounds really cool, but make sure it stays inside the stocking. We also have a little bowl, and our friend is going to sit in the little bowl, and you'll see why it's important for him to stay there later. We also have all of these different pieces on little toothpicks, pipe cleaner, and some little eyes. And we are going to decorate our friend. So I think I will give him some feet right here. And if you're having trouble getting the toothpick in, just give it a little wiggle. It should pop right in there. We'll set him down in there with his little feet. I think I will give him some eyes. And a little nose. His nose is going to be a little funny shaped. And a little bit. Now if you've ever played with Mr. Potato Head, this is kind of similar. So once we have our friend looking just how we want him to, I know mine looks a little bit silly, but I like him that way. We are going to get some water. I have this cute little watering can. You can use just a little bowl, some water from the sink, and we're going to give our friend a shower. And that's why it's important that he stays in the bowl so we don't get water everywhere. But if you water him every couple of days, eventually your friend will start to grow hair, and that hair will be grass, and you can let him grow, you can cut it, style him however you want, but each of our friends will look a little bit different, but that's okay because they are special to us.
All right, friends, the time has come for us to say goodbye for the last time in this year's virtual Vacation Bible School. I hope you had a really good time here with all of us this week. I know that we all had a really great time putting this together for you. It's been great to hang out on the farm and to collect all these fruits of the Spirit. I hope you have learned some more about love, joy, peace, patience, and kindness. I hope they are changing who you are as a person, making you an even better person than you already were. Let's do our memory verse for today one last time together. Do you remember what it was? Always try to be kind to each other and to everyone else. Today for our song, we're going to link down in the description all 4 of the songs we did in the past weeks. Go through and listen to all of them as many times as you want. Sing and dance and let those fruits of the Spirit come alive in you however you want to express them. I've been Farmer Nick, and it has been my joy and my honor to be here with all of you this week. I hope you leave here more loving people filled with peace and kindness and patience and joy. So go out into the world with everything you've learned here, my friends, and make this world a better place. Bye.